Welcome, and it's a beautiful morning out. It's nice and cool. So good morning to everybody. We're going to start out with our affiliates saying hello. So Sandy was first in, so go ahead, Sandy.
Good morning, everyone. Sandy Franco, First American Home Warranty. It is a beautiful June gloom. Hope we keep that up for as long as possible for me. I'm going to be at your office in Alhambra tomorrow. If you need door hangers, text or email me so I can make sure I have enough in my car. I'll load it up, but I don't want to miss anybody. I have the baggies. I have door hangers. Just shoot me a text or email me. Don't leave it here in chat in case you do it and I miss it. I'll put my info into chat in case you don't have it. Happy to drop this stuff off. This is the time to go out into your farm. Have a great day.
Okay, next up we have Marie. Hello, Marie.
Good morning, everyone. Marie with Contempo Escrow, here to help you grow your business. You know, the market is really picking up. It's strange. You would think with the higher interest rates that things would kind of slow a little, but they seem to be picking up. So I think we have to continue to do things that we normally do, and that's our farming, reaching out to our sphere of influence, your door knocking, your cold calling, reaching out to the people that your past clients, and just get out there and get in front of your clients. Anything I can do to help as far as your farming, if you need items, pencils, pens, notepads, here to help you. You can just give me a call and I can help you with those things. If you need listing net sheets for your listing appointments, please feel free to call me and have a great rest of your week.
Thank you very much, Marie. Now, next up is Mark Wu.
Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's having a delightful day. Mark here, willing to assist you and your buyers with their home insurance and condo insurance. Know that it's extremely challenging to obtain insurance in today's market. And so you guys have to be proactive. Even if the client says, I have somebody, make sure they go back to that somebody and say, can you insure this house? Because I'm finding out in the industry that many of your buyers are assuming that because they have insurance with XYZ company, that they can continue to get insurance with XYZ company. They get to the closing date and now they're scrambling for insurance because their present company will not insure the house they're buying. So you have to whole hand them right now, and it's extremely important because we're seeing escrows delayed and even some falling out of in the process just because of insurance issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. That's great information. And Mark, yes, I would like to take you up on your offer after we introduce the other affiliates.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Angie Tang.
Good morning, CBG. Angie Tang, First American Title. Next week, I'm going to be the spotlight, so I'm going to go over a few things. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about RON. What is it? What does it do? How can it benefit your clients? We're going to go over that and a few other little topics. So stay tuned for next week. If you have any questions on farming or layering farming, or to do a one-to-one to try to strategize what's the most effective way to get the next listing, I'm here to help you grow that type of business. I'm Angie Tang, First American Title. Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you, Angie. Is John from Snap NHD here? I think I saw him. Okay, is there any other affiliates that I've missed?
So you'll see here, this farm was created.
Okay, and who's ever got their mic open, we can hear you. Can you mute yourself? And Mark, do you need to be made co-host?
No.
Okay. All right. So today we have a special treat. Mark Wu is going to be the affiliate spotlight, and take it away, Mark, and teach us some things. Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm always a backup plan, which I don't mind. I was supposed to be the spotlight in 2 weeks, but I am prepared. Mark here with AMS Insurance Agency. Many of you I've had a long time relationship with, been in the business for going on my 36th year. Had an Allstate agency back for 35 of those years, sold it a couple years ago, and then the market and crisis just got crazy. And so I came back as a consultant. What I've done is I've aligned myself with several brokers so that I take the legwork out of you guys trying to obtain home insurance and condo insurance. And I basically am able to find companies that are writing in California market. So what has basically happened is in the last decade, the California market has had some of the major wildfires in the industry. And so that was the initial crippling blow to the industry. What happened secondly is that now in the last 3 years after COVID, and just with the craziness of inflation and everything, things have gotten to where it has cost companies 20 to 60% more to rebuild when there's a loss and catastrophe in a home. So that, along with the pressure of not being able to raise rates, because in California, in order for a major company to raise in their premiums to accommodate their ability to afford insurance here, they have to go through a hearing, and that hearing can take 6 months to a year, and it's so massive and tedious that it has clogged the system and all that. So, you know, it used to be where clients would say, well, you know what, insurance companies are charging so much and they're making so much that therefore this is just a gimmick. And I would come back and say, you know what, that may have been true in the past, but if you look at the numerous number of major companies that have left our market, it is a telltale sign that they are experiencing financial issues, and therefore not only have companies exited the market, but those that are still in the market are starting to non-renew their books, so of the high risk area. And so what this has created is basically a crisis in our market as we are all involved in transactions in escrow. And so what I've told my realtor friends is that when you go to buy a house, you got to make sure that when you're representing the buyers, that they don't have buyer's remorse from the standpoint of insurance costs, because the cost of insurance has doubled, tripled, and sometimes even quadrupled when I've seen it in our hillside. And so if you don't set their expectations that this is a part of the buying process, just like high interest rates are right now, you're going to have to work, I mean, all that hard effort to get them into escrow, and then they pull out just because of the simplicity of insurance. That's going to be disheartening to not only the buyers, but especially to you, because without the evidence of insurance, you know, you can't close the transactions. And this also has a impact on the loan ratios and all that. So it's super important that you guys do your due diligence to navigate through this process and have somebody as part of your team. And if you don't, then of course I'm here to assist you out. So what our normal options have been now when the major carriers like Allstate and State Farm, Traveler, Safeco, you know, to name a few, Hartford, are not writing in the California market, we have to go to oftentimes companies that you may not have heard of. And so there's two types of insurance carriers in California. One is called the admitted insurance carriers. And these are companies that are licensed to do business in California, are highly regulated by the Department of Insurance. And so there's a protection involved in that. A second form that we are seeing more and more, and most of our clients are going and being placed in that, and what I've seen is more and more is happening, is called a non-admitted carrier. These are companies that are not licensed to do business in California, but they are financially, they are financially able to take on risk because they can set their rates a little better. They don't have a saturation of clientele in certain communities. So their risks of total destructions, losses and all that are minimized in that capacity. So the question then becomes, well, Mark, how do I protect my clients, when it comes to these non-admitted carriers? And there's a rating agency called AM Best Rating. What it is a rating agency that determines the financial strength of insurance companies and financial institutions. And so please, if you guys don't take anything out of my message today, write that down: A_M_ BEST, BEST rating. And very easy thing to do is, like, if you have that, even while I'm talking right now, look it up on your phone and say AM Best Rating for a company called Northlight Insurance, NORTH Light Insurance. You'll see that they have an A rating. And what it is when you get these what we call a non-admitted carrier company, you've got to make sure that your clients are getting, or your buyers are getting, an A-rated company, meaning that they are financially and fiscally sound in order to pay the claims and whatnot. And with that, again, the lending institutions do accept that as insurance. And so the difference between a non-admitted and a fair plan is that on a fair plan policy, it does take two policies to make it a whole, like a standard policy. So you have to not only get the fair plan policy, that is the fire, wind and lightning coverage, but the fair plan doesn't cover what we call liability and water damage and theft loss. So in order to make the client whole, you have to have a difference in coverage, and it is a separate policy. Fair plan does not offer that. So the client, your buyers, will have two separate policies, but what will happen is that they have to be almost similar in coverage. So you can't have a higher coverage in a fair plan policy and a different coverage for dwelling in a difference in coverage policy with another company. So that creates a little bit complication because, again, two policies make one. So then I'm asked, well, which one would you recommend, Mark? And my answer is always, if I could get a non-admitted carrier that's a preferred, has a high rating, I'd rather go route with that because it's less confusion and I'm only dealing with one company when it comes time for a loss. All right. The way the California Fair Plan is, it's what we call an insurance of last resort. And it basically is a fallback policy, and almost everybody can qualify for it unless the house is in horrible shambles and deterioration. Condition. And the fair plan is not a governmental policy, but it is almost like that. What it is all the standard companies in California have to participate in this pool with the fair plan and has to share proportionally in the risk. But the fair plan is administered by itself. And so they used to get only a couple hundred apps a day. They're getting a couple thousand a day. And they have no ability to sustain servicing that. They've hired a lot of people, but many of their underwriters are brand new. So there's a learning curve. So sometimes it's taking a day to get a policy. Sometimes it's taking 3 and 4 weeks. And the 3 and 4 week time period is mainly in our foothills and high brush areas and high fire zone. So it's imperative that you get that policy started, because you're not going to be able to, if you're in a high brush area, you're not going to be able to get the fair plan to provide a binder or a confirmation that they can do the insurance within your due diligence period. So if you have that issue and you're in a brush area and you're representing the buyer, please make sure that you have that conversation with the sellers that, hey, we need more time in this escrow transaction, in this contractual period, to be able to obtain it. And many of the buyers are getting to know that, because frankly, many of the sellers, because frankly, if they're in those high hazard areas, they are being non-renewed by many of their carriers. I'm seeing more non-renewals than I've ever seen in my whole career. All right. My other thing is just for public service announcement for you folks that have insurance and are currently a homeowner. If you get those non-renewal letters, sometimes they're just a flat out not renewal where, hey, we're no longer insuring in this market, so therefore go ahead and find somebody. A second non-renewal letter is, hey, you got these property conditions, so in the event that you clear them up, we will renew it, but if you don't, we won't. When you get those letters, I will strongly suggest jump on it and stay with the companies you are. I just got a text from a realtor that referred somebody, and they sent me somebody to write up, and I asked them, why are you shopping around? Are you being non-renewed? And they say, no, we're wanting a better rate. And so they gave me their rating and all that, and it wasn't that bad. And I strongly recommended that they stay with their carriers, because you don't want to be shopping and moving around anymore in this market until this crisis gets resolved. What's happening is that companies oftentimes if there's a claim in the first year, it's an automatic non-renewal. They know that statistics proves that if a client files in the first year, they're going to be multiple filing. And so this is an industry that wants to make a profit like any other business, you know. And so if they are only going to select, you know, 20, 30, 40% of our market in California, they're going to choose the best and the best risk, you know. And so that's going to cause issues with those that have claims and whatnot. A second thing that's been happening a lot is when someone's in escrow, is that they may not realize that there's a claim on the existing house they're buying, and that also slows down the process because we have to provide documented proof that that has been remediated. What that term means is that whatever the problem that caused the damage has to have been documented and fixed, not just a contract, but a payment and pictures to follow. And that's a tedious process as well, because the underwriters won't release binding authorities to the insurance agent unless that's provided. So where this becomes a problem is when the seller has only been in the house for a couple of years, and they may not know that there has been a prior claim in that third, fourth, or fifth year. I've seen that happen quite a bit, and that has caused also a delay in the transaction process. So when that's the case, then it takes a little bit longer. So that's why it's imperative that when I get asked the question with many of the buyers and many of my realtor friends, I'm saying as soon as the offer is accepted, have your buyers go to their own insurance agents and request a quote, or if they don't have one, give me the ability to earn your business, because I've been able to assist many of your agents through that, because I understand where I need to put a circle in a circle and not a peg, you know, a square and whatnot. But again, I am here to help, and I am here to consult, and that's what you know. If you get through a transaction process, then do that. The other issue right now that I've seen more, which I never thought I would ever see, is where HO6 or condo insurance is extremely hard to obtain. There's almost hardly any preferred companies that are offering that. So we're having to go to a non-admitted carrier. And where it used to only take me an hour to get a condo quote, sometimes it's taking me a week to 2 weeks to get one. And the prices used to be where they were between $500 and $1,000. Now I'm seeing them upwards of average of $1,500. So there's some sticker shock involved in those HO6 policies as well. I know that oftentimes many of you don't deal with commercial apartment insurance, but many companies have just non-renewed that. And that's even a harder policy to obtain now when there's 5 or more units. So you got to do your due diligence. You got to be proactive in all you do. And again, I'm here to answer any questions, and thanks for letting me fill in.
Oh, thank you so much, Mark. That was valuable information. So I think based on what you're saying is that if we have, we do have contingencies, so perhaps the agents need to check with the insurance carrier to make sure that policy will be issued prior to removing that contingency on their contracts. So
That's correct.
thank you. That's a great reminder. And does anybody have any questions for Mark? Okay, it looks like we've had a
I
couple.
do.
Okay, Nancy?
Are they looking at the budgets and the bylaws now? The insurance company? Because I think that's what the problem with this condo. They're looking at the reserves, right?
They've not really from our insurance standpoint. They're just looking at the whole risk, Nancy. So
Okay.
yeah, but I've heard that condo policies have doubled and tripled, and they don't have not only reserve, they don't even have money for the insurance.
Yeah.
Oh, gee.
So we have a couple of more affiliates. So Nancy Chan, go ahead and introduce yourself. And then we have one more after Nancy.
Good morning, everybody. Nancy Chan, 41 years in the business. Know Mark for 40 years. The experience that Mark, and all the people that have is really invaluable. So if you need help from a title aspect or market situations or farming or one-on-one, let me know. Thank you so much. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you.
Thank you. And Frank Delgadillo.
Hey, Michelle. Hey, guys. Hey, everybody. Great information, Mark. And I can attest to that. Not only am I a lender, but I'm also a condo owner. So I'm also the client. And I started as Mark's client. And yeah, condo insurance premiums have increased. And I live in Azusa, so I'm just next to the hills, where I always say to myself, look, I don't live in those hills. I shouldn't be paying what those people should be paying. Why am I paying that extra amount? But it's all the cost of insurance that everything's increased. With this in mind, I mean, when it comes to the lending part, and I'm glad that Mark said that as soon as you get an offer accepted, please have your lender and you do the due diligence of getting the insurance quote, because the last thing you want to do is debt ratios change, and let's keep it real. You know, everything costs a lot now. I mean, I did analysis of my own situation where buying my own condo would cost me 87% more now than what I did 4 years ago. So everything costs more, including in insurance. So do those things now, because as dollars get tight, inflation affects everybody, and insurance is going to affect somebody. The last thing you want to do is lose an escrow all because $3, $4 made a big difference in something. So do those things right. Even do it before you make an offer on the house. Get a quote. Doesn't hurt you. Then that's what we all have to do. So as a lender, I am a partner to you as the agent to make sure that we navigate that borrower every step of the way. If a seller's looking at selling a home and moving to another one because they're going to move up, move down, move out, move in with somebody, get all those things taken care of. So if they're looking also at an ADU, get those insurances in place right away, because every dollar counts. So, but this is my lending, I'm the lending partner for you. Happy to help any which way I can, whether if you want to go door knocking, flyer dropping, and put more escrows into place with you and I together. Happy to be here. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, that's a good, thank you, Frank, for all those reminders. And I think what I hear him saying is you have your lender as a team, we have title, we have escrow. So between all of the professionals, make sure you're all communicating and making sure that the contingencies are covered on everything, including the insurance. So thank you all very much. And now we're going to get to our sales. So I'm going to address Alhambra, and then Doug is going to come in for Arcadia. So we have 4917 Encinitas Avenue in Temple City, commercial lease by Shumei Cam. Congratulations, Shumei. And we have 419 North Chandler in Monterey Park, a sale by Nina Shu. Congratulations, Nina. And another commercial lease is 317 East Valley Boulevard, and that was by Karina Pang. Congratulations, Karina. And we have some closings in Alhambra. So we have Ruben and Sunshine closed a property, Sandtooth, and that was closed at 675. So congratulations to Ruben and Sunshine. And Ruben Galvin closed another property in Commerce on East Joaquin Court for 700,000. Congratulations, Ruben. And Nina Shu closed one of the Chandler condos, number 151, number 51 at 738. Congratulations, Nina. So with that, I'll ask Doug to go over the Arcadia sales and escrows. Doug?
Good morning, everybody. Wait a minute. Okay, good morning. How you guys doing today? So we've got 4 listings and about 8 sales I want to tell you about that happened the last week or so. We have a commercial lease available in Alhambra on Palm for $26.50 a month. We have some land in Lancaster, $59,000 and $79,000. And Amy Wang has got a commercial residential income for sale in Azusa on Pasadena Avenue, $1,198,000 available. And some of our sales and leases have been Stella Guan had a buyer in Arcadia, a condo in California, $1,069,000. Nick Borelli in San Marino, a house, $30 million. It's expected to close in a couple days. It was all cash. Arthur He had a listing in Apple Valley, was 4 units. It sold for $758. Sharon Chow did a lease in Monterey Park, $4150. Yin Yin Tang had a sale in Mentone, $312,000. Suki Husky had a listing in Los Angeles, sold for $880. Amy Wang had a listing in Covina, sold for $1,405,000. And the last one, Suki Husky again, had a buyer in Los Angeles for $1,550,000. And I don't have a list of our closings, but we had a lot of closings this last week. And like Marie said earlier, you know, the market is really, really good right now, even though interest rates are high and a lot of buyers don't qualify. But man, if you get a listing, I mean, we had one lady offered, and on one of our agents, $200,000 over asking price. Guess what? That listing had 69 offers and she didn't get it. Imagine if you had a listing, a good sellable listing. Wouldn't it be great to have to work with all those offers rather than be one of those offers? I'm not telling you not to work with buyers, work with your buyers. A lot of our sales are buyers, but these listings are good as gold right now. So be sure to work on your listing, work on your sphere of influence, work on your past clients, keep in touch, keep in touch, keep in touch. Make contacts, stay in touch. That's the whole name of the game. Believe me, I've been in the business my whole life, and that's what it is. Making contacts and staying in touch. All right, that's it. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Doug. And since Peter's not here, we're not going to have another briefing. He will brief next week. I just wanted to mention we will be going over for 2 different Fridays in June the new buyer rep forms. We will go over each form step by step so that we all understand them. So look out for those announcements. It'll be on our normal Friday trainings. It'll be the last 2 weeks in June, and we will go step by step through those forms that are out that I have in draft form right now. So look for those announcements. And I wanted to say, is there any other questions or comments from anybody?
Michelle, on those classes you just mentioned, we want to be sure to have a copy of what you're going to go over in front of us. So can you
Yes.
send us a copy prior to the meeting?
Yes, I will.
announcement? Okay, great.
It'll
That'd be
come with it'll come prior to the meeting, and we'll send it out with each meeting announcement. So we make sure that everybody has those draft forms.
beautiful. Good job. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments before we conclude? Okay, well, let me check the chat box and make sure. Nope. Okay, well, thank you very much, everybody, and I wish you a beautiful week ahead and lots of business. And thank you to our affiliates for coming and supporting us. We always appreciate that greatly. Have a beautiful week, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye, Coldwell Banker George Realty.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.